Greetings, Underdone player and/or other form of listener, and welcome to the Underdone podcast,
where two veterans reminisce and tell the story of an underappreciated Garry's Mod game mode and server.
Because history isn't worth being forgotten, and it's up to us to not twist it too much. You can call me Snippy, and the other is
Kitsune Deity, and we'll be your hosts for an hour or so.
Other host is, yeah, I messed that up. Anyway, hey, welcome to a new thing that we're doing. What is Underdone, and what is this podcast? Introductions, experience. What do we have to say to start it off?
Garry's Mod.
Game mode.
And MMORPG.
It's a Garry's Mod MMORPG game mode that was custom made by, well, it goes back a bit far, especially back to Garry's Mod 10 in 2010. In fact, this is the...
I think it was Garry's Mod 9.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I'm just reading the help menu that showed up here, and this is the only written information that we really have to go off of this whole video. So let's start with that first. Garry's Mod is a game mode that was made for Garry's Mod. What? No, it's not.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Underdone was a game mode created, is an MMORPG based on the old game mode Underdone by Polk M, which came out for Garry's Mod 10 back in 2010. When Garry's Mod 13 update came out, the game mode pretty much broke for servers running it, like AWOL or Joker Ice. I remember Joker Ice.
Yep.
I definitely remember that. I remember having that in my name due to the way it was coded. This version has been fixed to work with Garry's Mod 13 and has much better methods for saving player data. That's basically the gist of this new Gmod 13 version, which is not new. And this was made by the Commander, and probably some other people helped that I don't know or remember.
That pretty much goes over most of it. I know that it wasn't just Commander, and he had some people helping him with models. Snowy was one of them, I think. But that's kind of all I know for who was helping back then.
Yeah, I don't remember much of any of that because I was probably too young to even remember anyone's name besides the Commander because of just how memorable that was. Anyway, that's another thing entirely. So this game mode has gone through a number of iterations and has had a number of servers running it, and they've updated it in different ways because the base game mode only went so far when it comes to like progress and stuff, because it is an MMORPG with quests and with crafting and skills and loot and items and stuff, rare loot, ton of stuff, right? NPCs.
Yeah, so many iterations.
There's been a number of iterations. The most recent server to be running a more modern version is Tinker's Underdone Lab, which is run by Crisscross, who Kitsune here is helping code a bit for right now.
Yep, made a couple new skills. It's made armor for the NPCs, which I think is the first time they've ever even had it.
Oh yeah, you're making some cool new strides and stuff, but a lot of servers have had a lot of different things added to it, and I guess we're going to kind of reminisce on a lot of that stuff over time. I mean, this is the introductory episode, so we're not going to get into anything in too much detail this time, but overall, it's a game mode that has a lot of history, and a lot of it is kind of forgotten. So thinking back, the most popular this server probably has been, this game mode has been, and that was the Commander server, right? UDG, Underdone Gaming, that whole community.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that was the most popular.
At least from what we played, I guess.
Yeah,
that was Joker Ice is.
Well, that was Gmod 10. That was like before the Commander's rework, which is mostly what we're going to talk about. Because we don't have as much experience with the older versions. That actually was pretty damn popular, I think.
Yeah, no, I remember servers were full of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were multiple and had a lot of people on them.
Even Commanders got pretty full of life.
It did
back then, and it was great.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of footage of that.
I missed that. Yeah, no.
There is some footage out there on Commander's channel as well as other people's, but
yeah,
it's all old history. This is like what was this, like 2014, 2015, up to like 2018 or so. It pretty much ended at that point, or maybe just before that.
Something like that.
The Commander had moved on, and pretty much stopped running the server, but the game mode itself was still for sale for development purposes, and so people would buy the license to it and modify it and make their own servers. And I don't remember, what was the first server that came after the Underdone Gaming one?
Damn, I don't remember the name, because I know Joe's, but that was after that one, and I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It's pretty bad archival. That's how. Who cares the past?
It's just been so long.
It has. It has. If we didn't necessarily think this information would be pertinent one day. So.
I don't think it was one. Was it the first one that added rings?
I think it was. Joe added rings. I remember Joe's server added rings.
Okay, no, Joe added rings. Then, damn.
Didn't Joe's server add the Tunguska? Or was that during Underdone Gaming when the Tunguska was added? I guess we should probably... Okay, honestly, hold on. Let's just pull the brakes here. We should probably delve into history on a separate episode at this point, because if we are actually going to go that in-depth. The point is that there's been a number of iterations, and the game mode has changed a lot over time. This is the most current iteration on Tinker's Underdone Lab, which you can go find on Garry's mod by searching Underdone in the server browser thing. Anyway, as an introductory episode, we're just going to go over a lot of little... We're going to go over everything briefly and in an undescript way, and let's try not to delve into anything in particular too deeply. So, the first thing about Underdone is that it's an MMORPG, right? So there's classes and stuff. There's items and levels and skills and all this other stuff that's in the game mode that's been made to run via like Lua and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got our basic melee class. We got a ranged class. Which each have 3 different categories within them. Besides the common passive stuff.
What is the server experience like getting in? Well, you have this help menu that explains a lot of the game mode, which is actually very useful and worth reading, because obviously it's a bit of an underdone thing. So having reading that is useful because it's information that's pertinent to the game mode at hand.
And most people don't.
Yeah,
they just
true.
Skip over it.
I mean, hey, usually people do skip over reading stuff in games because usually that's not that big of a deal, I guess. But when it's something this custom and this different in a game mode, in a game that doesn't have anything really like it, well, at least it didn't at the time. There has been some other RPG-like servers that have been made, but Underdone is definitely one of the original ones. Definitely one of the original game modes. And I would say it's one of the most in-depth game modes, probably for Garry's mod, period. Just straight up as it is. Anyway, just starting the server, obviously, there's quests and stuff because it's an RPG, right? So you have a quest guy. You have Dr. Kleiner, and he gives you a lot of quests at level 1 because you're level 1 at the start. Now, we're not going to get too deep into it, but there's multiple quest NPCs, and they offer different quests for different kind of avenues of, Barney wants you to kill a bunch of Combine. You just gave me 1 money, and that's not good. There's a guy that wants you to kill zombies. There's a guy that Eli wants you to kill antlions. Wait, no, that's Odessa. All the NPCs kind of have their expertise, I guess. And there's mobs around the level. Like, at the spawn, there's crows, which are defenseless because you just started, so, it makes sense for them to be defenseless. And there's a bunch of enemies around the map. Like these twisted zombies, which are zombies, but they're twisted, so they deal more damage, and it's not good. Ow! Okay. So, there's enemies and stuff. Obviously, we're too low level to go that way, though, so we're not going to.
Now, what do you start with when you start this mode?
Well, you start with a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. Also, a piece of equipment called a lantern, which is an armor. And if you right-click and use, boom, it equips it. And now you're wearing it. Except I don't see it because POC 3 is off. I'm gonna turn on all the POC 3's things, so you better not put that bike on. I swear to God.
That's the thing about this mode is it's heavily reliant on POC 3.
It is heavily reliant on POC 3. Also, this server for some reason has a problem where if you have anything that spawns light, the entire map goes full bright. So I'm gonna not show the lantern because that breaks the whole game.
Oh my God.
That's not good. We should probably
I didn't even
tell
know
Chris
that.
about that. You didn't know that? The X weapon does that. Yeah, of course. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So there's melee and ranged, but there's another class entirely, which you can kind of see a sneak peek of by going to abilities, and that's magic stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
For a mage class, which is a custom addition to this server in particular, that was not in the original versions. So when it comes to the individual classes, obviously with ranged and melee, those are probably the most simple to figure out. Ranged, simple. You have ammo boxes, you use them, it goes into your little ammo reservoir thing at the bottom, and then you pull out the gun, and you have ammo, and then you can shoot a crow. And it dies in
words, Doc?
And it dies in 3 bullets. There you go. You figured out how to start Underdone. This is where most people probably quit, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised they get even that far. So that's basically the start of the game mode. Quests, enemies drop stuff, you can get better stuff. There's shops in these houses which you can use money and get gear from. Now not that these are amazing or anything, but early on they definitely help. And they say these really annoying voice lines, and I hate them. You can turn all that off, though, in the settings. There's actually a ton of settings that you can do that makes things a lot easier, like auto-picking up stuff, disabling certain Talk 3 visuals, or... Because there's, like, this waste attachment later that just plays audio all the time, and you can just mute that and turn that off, which is really great. Anyway, it's basically how you play. It's not that hard to figure out from there. I mean, honestly, given the quests and other information the game gives you. But we're not going to necessarily talk about that only throughout this podcast. What we want to talk about is stuff like history, stuff like certain things and how they came to be, and experiences we've had on the server in the past, right? In the past server.
Yes.
History.
The good old past.
Yeah, history is like the main focus of this. Not only our experience, but just the general experience of the game mode and what it has to offer. In an effort
experiences, ideas.
Oh yeah, and ideas and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot to go over. There's a lot of history to it. But as for an introductory episode, there's only so much that we can say, other than it goes deep in some aspects, and
yeah, that definitely does.
Yeah. All right. So, have any topics you want to discuss in this?
Well, I mean, we can discuss how there's not actually a real story to this.
Yeah, there's not a story. I mean, it's an Underdone game mode. I mean, it's a Garry's Mod game mode. God damn, it's a Garry's Mod game mode. What do you expect? I mean, obviously, most people probably just play like Dark RP or something like that. I mean, you have a lot of experience on stuff like that. I don't, but it's not. It's not.
That's
like
just
that
you get in, you play it. Like we got most of the introductory out of the way. We might as well focus on one thing.
Well, now we're going to focus on one thing.
What made this game so lively?
Well, it has to do with the loot, right? It has to do with some of the rare stuff that you could get, and the auction house that there was, and
the economy, the rare items.
Yeah.
Just the satisfaction of getting armor and weapons dropped from enemies, finding out what enemies drop that stuff.
Yeah, figuring out what enemies to target for the armor of your certain level, and or gives you the best stats for where you're at, for how to get certain weapons and stuff, certain progress. And also, there was a community feel with like crafting stuff as well. Like, crafting books for the high level stuff was pretty expensive, so people would share. Like they would, oh, you pay me some money and I'll craft and give me the materials and I'll craft it for you because I already have the book in my crafting list and stuff. Right, or I already had the skills. There was a masteries aspect to the crafting.
There was.
That is currently really unused. Yeah, that's very old. That's currently unused. But there was a requirement to crafting some of the high level stuff. You had to craft a lot of just generic stuff in order to craft better, actual useful things. I think that's very similar to a game like RuneScape. I haven't actually played RuneScape. But I do remember hearing a lot of people compare this to that back in the day, right?
Yeah.
I think I remember.
I mean, it used to be like in the welcome menu, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think it did say something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then there was the VIP. So people who had VIP, they used the VIP shop and they'd buy resources for people. that they couldn't get easy access to when they didn't have VIP. I mean, there used to be vehicles, because there used to be a city map.
Yeah, this current server's on like a modified Ocarina of Time Zelda map, but back in the day it was it was not dark RP maps. I guess it was more like just the full-on big RP maps, like Rockford, and it was like Pripyat and some of the apocalyptic maps. There was a few variations. Some of the servers used different maps, and some of them had custom maps made, kind of, or edited maps. Some of them.
It was a lot more Half-Life-esque.
It was a lot more Half-Life-esque. Yeah. It was definitely. It was not very fantasy-like. It was a Half-Life RPG. Like, I think it was titled that, Underdone, like the Half-Life RPG, because it's, you fight Combine, you fight zombies, you fight antlions. It's not actually like a fantasy thing. It's probably why there wasn't magic originally, and they're only, this new server has added it and has gone like a bit more of like a fantasy-esque feel for it. But back in the day, it was a Half-Life focused game mode. That's why all the NPCs are like that. That's why there's not that many. There wasn't like any add-ons. There was literally no add-ons. It went entirely add-on-less pretty much. Besides like POC 3, which I don't even think you needed it to have installed in order for the server to work. Maybe you did. I don't remember. There wasn't a collection or anything really.
You did need Half-Life Episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Counter-Strike Source.
Yes.
CSS for sure was a requirement. But generally, it was an add-on-less experience, which was really amazing. I mean, this new server isn't, but a lot of the base game mode itself, I mean, all of it doesn't even use add-ons really at all, which is very impressive, because a lot of servers really, really rely on add-ons. Even this current server, which has a bunch, doesn't rely on them that much, I don't think. I mean, not necessarily. It was mostly made with the creativity of Half-Life's assets and just Garry's mod itself, and with, the creativity that POC 3 enabled, Act 3, whatever you want to say it, enabled people to create. I think
back in the day, I don't even think Joker Eyes used POC 3.
No, yeah, the original versions did not. I don't think POC 3 was made for that version of Garry's mod.
Yeah.
I think they had a different save system as well. I think this version uses MySQL. I don't know the details. You're the man who knows. You're the man who has the code. I don't know that shit. But
yeah, it's all like database.
Yeah.
Which from what people normally say is that they don't like that it uses POC 3 anymore. Like now.
It is a bit laggy, yeah. It can get a bit laggy.
Because that causes a lot of issues.
It definitely does have some issues. Also, there's a lot of gear that's very annoying and like are intrusive and not good.
Yeah.
But you can turn all that. You can make all that stuff invisible by toggling stuff off in the options menu and stuff like that. It's definitely a product of its time, but we're not going to get into that. Game mode is. Generally, it's pretty faithful usually to Half-Life, which is cool. There's a lot of servers kind of strayed away from that. A lot of them did that.
Most servers aren't even around anymore.
That's true, and a lot of these Underdone servers aren't around anymore either. It's a lot of them have gone and bit the dust, and I'm just glad there's still one around that's still being updated in its own way, even if it's obviously changing and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, a lot of the HUD and stuff has been redone for this server. We touched a little bit on it earlier, but there was a server, I think it was like, the owner was named Joe or something like that. We just know him as Joe. And he had his server, I'm pretty sure, added the ring system, which was nice because it it gave everyone a bit of a stat boost, because there's all these stats. There's like luck that increases drop rates and crit rate. There's agility, which increases attack speed. It used to increase movement speed, but that has been consolidated into its own skill in the modern server, just called run speed. There's intellect, which is crafting speed, which will break if you go over like 10 with small, with fast crafting stuff. So be careful with that. Dexterity is just your basic damage stat for ranged. Strength is your damage stat for melee. There's obviously max health, and then the server has magic, so there's like a mana and a mana regen stat. There's another stat as well, isn't there? I don't even see it because it's cut off.
There's armor.
There is an armor stat.
I don't feel like it does too much, but it's there.
It's there. Defense technically exists, but it's nothing super important. The most stuff that even gives you defense is your armor, but armor has like set bonuses and stuff, and that's what gives you most of your stats. So that's what you really wear armor for. The armor stat itself, the defense. There's like shields that give you it, but they're not really useful for anything else. All this stuff is either crafted, which requires some grinding and prior crafting materials and stuff like that, and like it has like the scrap refined reclaimed metal thing from TF2 where you refine the metal and condense it into greater forms in order to craft stuff with, and there's enemies that just straight up drop that. So you have multiple avenues to farm that stuff. You can either mine it with a drill, or you could just farm enemies and they drop some of that stuff, which is really nice because you have multiple choices there. And as for just the slots and
to bring it back to just like rare items and whatnot, what are some of those rare items? Because we have not only do we have just the armors and weapons that drop, we have in the crafting books, but we have the new spells, the rings. The rings are the special drops that mostly actually do something. Mm-hmm. But then you have the unique items like the boots of boots of smoke.
Boots of smoke. Boots of
I don't know where I was going with that one. Yeah.
Boots of energy. Yeah, there's a boot slot. That's usually just delegated to rare stuff. There's boots of metal that hunters drop, which is the only boot that gives stats, which makes it the best, but it's also... Other ones have cool visual effects and stuff. That's mainly what they're made for. They're just like rare things that made you look different, and you could... This added to the community feel, someone would see that trail going behind you, because most of them just added like a trail, and it was like, whoa, how do you have that? What is that? And they'd be like, oh, buddy, I got boots of energy. Yeah. Don't even remember what dropped them, though. Good luck. That's an item in the game somewhere. Good luck finding it.
It gave that mystery and like...
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's just so satisfying getting that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's not genuinely that many. Like, there's nothing that's super, super rare. There's nothing that's actually like super powerful or anything. It's not really about that. It's more like, comparatively, there's some rare stuff. It's not like Diablo where there's like rare variations on stats or anything. I mean...
Not yet.
Not yet. There might be random stats added to items soon, maybe. Who knows? But that would add a lot of variety to the stuff, because they're really... For what it's worth, there's a pretty decent amount. But there can be so much more if certain stuff's developed.
For sure. I mean, also what makes no sense is that none of the boots even help with run speed.
That is true.
Like, you'd think that it would.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, that is technically strange. It probably wouldn't be that hard to add that to all of the boots. Maybe we should suggest that. Maybe. I don't know. It would be nice if there was a reason to wear any of the other boots over the boots of metal, because right now that's the only one that gives you stats. So that's...
And other ones, I mean, you use some of them for crafting.
That is true. Yeah. But it's not the end of the world if you don't get that stuff. I mean, to be fair... It's hard to really figure out how to even get it in the first place. I mean, this server does have a wiki command, which is very useful, actually. It's incredibly useful. There's two of them. There's a / one, which isn't useful because it leads you to a really old... Well, it's useful depending on what you're looking for, but it's a very old, archived, and unupdated version of the Underdone wiki from way back in the day, from like 2018. So that's kind of has some historical value there. But this modern server here, the Tinker's Underdone, has a custom wiki that lists all the enemies, as well as enemies that aren't actually implemented, like an archer. That guy's not a thing. But there's stuff that is, like a Combine Guard, and it tells you the level that they spawn at, their HP, their damage that they deal, the respawn time, what resistances they have, because some things do have resistances to fire or ice, which has to do with some skills, but we're not going to get into that too deep right now. It shows you their drops and their % chances, and if they drop armor sets, it tells you what sets they're for, because there's all that stuff. There's the ring, this Combine Guard drops Boots of Smoke, and that's a 0.05% chance, which, that's pretty rare. and you do need a bunch of those for stuff because you do craft stuff with that. So basically, it's it's an RPG where you grind out enemies and you get stuff. Right? These guys drop stuff from just money, which obviously always good. You can buy a lot of stuff with that. They can drop some ammo, which can help you conserve some of yours if you're ranged.
Crafting supplies.
They drop crafting supplies, like they drop wrenches, which you use to craft some stuff, and for quests and stuff. There's a magic spell, which is a thing on this server where they can drop a level 20 Hail of Bullets duo thing. And they drop armor. There's a melee set, Wasteland Gladiator, and there's a ranged set, which is just a combine armor set, which is fitting because it's a combine guy. So yeah, that's just an example of like one enemy that drops stuff. There's multiple types. There's the combine grunt, which is a higher level version that drops higher level stuff, and so on and so forth. That's basically the gist of a lot of that stuff. What the hell is a crazy boy? Okay, that's not implemented. There's a bunch of stuff in here that's not actually in, but oh my god! Remember the heavy ant guard boss? That's not even in this. Wait. Let me see. Hold it drops a weapon. Why isn't that in this game mode anymore? Wait, I do remember that in a previous server.
Wait, there was turrets like on the ceiling.
No, I think those are just placeholders. Okay, we're not gonna get into it too deep. We could literally go through this for like an episode.
We could. I mean, just to like, what the hell? Okay, anyway. It used to only go up to the Skeleton King. It was all Half-Life 2 enemies.
Yeah, the Skeleton King boss was the most difficult thing in the game. This server has a lot of higher level stuff to do. There's also a raid server that, not the most convenient thing, but it does have its own kind of progress you can go up to after like level 150 or like level like 200 or so, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the Skeleton King was the OG final boss. He was level 100, and he does 5,000 damage. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. He drops a bunch of money. He drops broken crowns, which you can use to craft an armor set themed after him, which is the best melee armor at the moment. And in this server, he drops a weapon. He drops a spell, which isn't actually that good. It's more of a bragging rights rare thing to just have in your bank, because there's a bank where you store stuff, obviously. Can't just have everything on you. He can also drop Boot to Smoke and a thing called a Remove Kebab, but that deserves an episode of its own. That's a saga right there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is a low drop rate, though. You get one of those from him. There's no reason to farm him for this, because bosses take longer to respawn, obviously, right? That's helps set them apart. It takes a minute 30 to respawn. He's also resistant to fire, because he's the Skeleton King. And as you can see, that's just a zombie from Half-Life 2 with some POC 3 stuff on, that's basically what this game mode was doing initially back in the day.
Yep.
A lot of POC 3 stuff that just added on to it. Here's the zombie boss, which is a lower level boss. He's like the first boss actually that you fight, and he can drop the hobo set, which is really good because he gives you a lot of luck. That's like the luckiest armor set, which is interesting because you get it at a low level and you can use it at a low level, but it has its own benefits, which is a cool little unique thing that's there. That's worth farming for, because you can farm a lot of other stuff with that, like the boots that you can use to craft some stuff that is really rare, or the Mr. Sparkle. We don't need to talk about that. That's a secret. No one's gonna figure out how to get that. No one's gonna figure out. It doesn't have a use, for the record, nor does it give you any stats. So it's a purely bragging rights rare thing to get. But it's my favorite thing to farm for. I don't know why, but I do have one.
Probably because it's the rarest thing in the game.
It is the rarest singular item, at least in the base of Underdone. I think there is something that's equally rare in this. That's like the Sapphire Ring, or as it's misspelled, Sapphire. But let me just tell you right now, it does give you a stat, but I won't tell you what that is either. You'll have to, maybe if you're so interested, you can find out all that on your own. It's rare though. I think I have multiple. Anyway, that's basically a rundown of some of the items. I mean, some of the progression, right? Yeah, obviously you level up from killing stuff. You get XP and you get new quests, which also give you XP, and all the quests pretty much are level locked, and they help kind of guide you to what enemies you should be fighting at what point in the game, and fighting those enemies. Obviously, they'll drop gear that's related to the level of them and your current quests and stuff, usually. That's generally how you get, like, really armor nice and stuff.
To go through.
Yeah.
Like, the first experience of playing through this is the best.
It can take a while. Some of the quests genuinely take a while. I don't know if we want to touch on that. I'll give you
we won't
look.
touch on that.
I'll give you a look at some of these quests. So here we have Eli, who really hates Combine and wants you to kill.
Really hates the player too.
Those damned Combine keep using my satellite array equipment as target practice. I can't work with Swiss cheese. Please help me. Kill those horrible things. He really hates the Combine. So he tells you to kill Combine guards, give you some money, give you some XP, and just kind of guides you at level 18 to level 23 to go kill them.
I mean, once you hit level 30, he hates you.
And then once you hit level 30... Well, first of all, you got to kill Combine elites. Oh, these elite soldiers of the Combine are blocking our way to destroying Dr. Breen. Kill these legendary soldiers and you will be rewarded. And then there's a quest to kill Dr. Breen. Dr. Breen's a pain in the ass for us rebels. Kill him slowly so he suffers a terrible death in our hands. He's a real psycho, huh? Holy, I didn't even read. I haven't read these in years. And he's a psycho. And then, of course...
Makes you wonder if we're the good guys.
I know, right? And then he, as the psycho, gives you the legendary Time Waster. Do you have a lot of time to spare? You have to kill 500 of every zombie, and then 100 Metro Cops, and 100 Crows. But you do get a really unique head attachment, which gives you agility, which is probably the most useful skill when it comes to DPS, because it increases your fire rate for both melee and ranged. So that's a very good reward. Even though it's 1 agility, that actually is quite useful. That is quite important. And it's a bit of something to show off, to brag. Like, I did Time Waster.
Yep.
But if you're bragging about doing Time Waster, you haven't seen what comes after it. Especially for a first playthrough. You know, this server has a prestige system, and I recommend the first thing you get being agility, because it helps you grind out stuff way faster, because that's a lot of agility that it gives you. But doing that isn't as painful, but
no.
On a first playthrough without that, doing some of the other challenge quests it'll take you a while. If you want something to bide your time with,
bring friends,
yeah, and do this. There was a bug back in the day, wasn't there? Where
there was.
Because you can have a party with players.
It started on Commander server.
Oh yeah, you can have a party with players, right? So I can invite you to a squad in the menu.
Yep.
And you join my party. And on this server, there's a buff thing where we all get buffs from being in a party, which is useful and cool.
Which I think came from Commander server back in the day when the system broke.
I don't remember if that was in there at all, but I do know that there was a bug where, well, first of all, joining a party has the benefit of you share quest progress. So if I were to accept a quest to kill crows, which I haven't done, let me do that. If I do that and Kitsune kills a crow, it'll count for me. So kill a crow.
All right, let me get a weapon. I'll have one out.
You fool.
A drill works for killing them, right?
Sure.
Where are they at?
That's a good question. Oh, there they are.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, tree seed. Oh, I can't wait till we get to that topic.
I don't see your weapon in your hand. That's kind of unfortunate. You gave me a tree
I don't see it
seed.
either.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think it's in the floor, honestly, this model. Probably.
Oh, it might be. I don't know. Yeah, crows drop seeds. That's an entire episode of its own, let's be honest. So, as you can see, he killed that. I got a quest progress in the top right, kill crow. So, that's the benefit of being in a party. But there was a bug where if you had more than 2 people in a party, so if you had 3 people, it would give you 2 quest kills for 1 kill. And if you had 3 people,
I thought it was when
4 people,
when
you had
more
3.
than...
No, listen to me. I'm telling you the truth, okay? You shut up. Now you get to tell me to shut up later. It's only fair. Anyway, if you had 4 people in your party, it would give you 3 quest kills, right? It was like +1. It was like, or -1 of your party count. It was a weird bug. And that helped you farm quests a lot faster, especially with friends. In fact, there was another bug, which I think you're confusing it with, where if you send everybody an invite, because there's a party limit, right? You can only invite 5 people in a party.
Or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a if you can only have 5 people in your party, or maybe 6 or something. But if you, I think it was 5, yeah. if you sent everyone an invite and they hesitated to accept it, if they just let the prompt await on their screen, everyone could accept it, and you could have the whole server in your party, and that would increase your quest progress really fast. That was a classic.
I remember we had the server full of like 10 people in the party, and we were getting 10 kills or 11 kills like every 1 kill.
Yeah, it was like 9 kills.
Just flying through quests. Like,
whoa. Yeah. Oh man, that speeds things up. It sure does, man. I don't even want to think about it.
It was +1 the party count. Is what it did.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Because when you had 2 people, it was giving 3.
No, it wasn't. We have 2 right now. It was not that easy. I remember we needed an additional person in order to get 2. I swear. I guess this is something we're gonna have to leave as mysterious, unless you want to go test it on your, because you bought the game mode. You have the code.
No. I don't think that mine's fixed though.
Oh, yours is fixed. Yeah, you fixed it, huh? All right, yeah, sure.
No, I didn't fix it. I'm pretty sure I have the fixed version commander.
The commander ever fixed that? I thought that was always a problem on his server. I thought he never fixed it. I fixed it. No. I fixed it. No.
All right. I guess if you did.
No. Okay. So that's like later game progress, right? Enemies at the beginning of the game don't really drop armor or weapons. Or at least they don't drop anything that super useful.
Yeah.
Most of what you're gonna spend your time doing initially is using the arms dealer, who does sell low level stuff, right? So obviously at the lowest level, level 1, you only have like a junkie pistol and a rusty metal mace, which you can upgrade on this server. There's an upgrade NPC, which I'm gonna go over briefly after this. But this is basically where you get your early game gear. None of this stuff is super expensive. It's stuff you can afford for the most part. Yeah, it's not that expensive. These actually kind of do look more expensive than I remember, but you can probably get them all. And obviously getting new weapons is a fantastic way to progress. But later in the game, you will not only need to craft weapons, which this person sells crafting books, this is like where you get the best stuff, really. You have to buy the books, and then you have to craft them yourself. But some enemies also just drop stuff, like the Combine Rocketeer is infamous, an infamous boss that drops an infamous weapon called the X weapon. That was a very, very popular ranged choice, because that's an assault rifle.
Yeah.
In the early game, there's also this armor shop, which isn't
needs some work.
I wouldn't even say it needs. Honestly, you know what? It does, because the thing about armor is the whole point of an armor set is getting the set bonus. But this armor shop stuff does not give you a set bonus. None of it does. So basically, it's pointless. Besides the lantern, which gives you an agility, which is really good for your DPS.
And the belt.
And the belt, which is a very good early game, even though it's level 18, it's still pretty early game. Waist attachment, and waist attachments are rare to come by, so you're going to wear this for a long time, and that gives you 4 strength and 4 dexterity. It's also a reference to some meme that I don't actually remember or know, because I never learned that one. There's a bit of references to random stuff in this throughout. And then obviously there's also armor crafting, which, if you're ranged, the first one you want to make is the ghillie set, and that's very helpful. But it has a downside. It gives you a lot of dexterity, a lot of damage, but you don't get any agility, which is kind of bad. And then there's shield crafting, which is honestly not that worth it, because you just get armor for it, and we've said the armor isn't that useful, and it kind of isn't. Anyway, that's basically the gear progression, right? Early game, you buy stuff straight up, or you get some armors from enemies, like the Twisted Zombies drop a skull armor set, which is very nice early game. So on and so forth. You find that stuff out as you go, and as you're grinding them, you get drops, and you kind of figure it out from there. This is the upgrade system, which is a thing on this server that lets you upgrade your weapons to make them better. And this is actually incredibly important, which isn't good, because it's not really explained, and he doesn't even say anything above his name that it tells you he's an upgrade guy. It's just Bestian. I don't even think that's a real name. We could get into that. Isn't there? I think there's a person named. Oh god, some of the names are just stupid, but I think that's hilarious at the same time.
Another problem with him, honestly, that I feel like is a problem anyway, is the stuff, like what you need to upgrade the starter stuff is just way too little.
Yeah, upgrading stuff
It's way too easy.
below like level 50. Upgrading weapons is really easy. It's just like some money or some raw materials you don't even need to refine. It's really, really easy. Like, I can literally upgrade my junkie pistol right now with $50, and it gives 3 more damage and 1 more clip size. Magazine count, whatever. Use that. Boom. It's now a junkie pistol +1. Never leave home without it. And you can upgrade it again. You can go to +3. Though I don't have enough money, so I can't go any further than that. But, oh, shit. Okay, I broke the game. I need a retry. That's Gary's mod for you.
Huh.
It's all right. A good thing the retry command exists, right? It's useful.
Yeah.
I will say the only problem with that is if you are using ranged, you'll lose your ammo because when you rejoin, you lose your ammo. Also, sometimes when you die, you lose your ammo. Sometimes it's like it's a chance.
It's pretty rare, but
it's a chance.
Can happen.
Now, this current map that we're on this that the server's on is actually quite large. It's pretty huge, and it has a lot of just zones and you go through a teleporter basically, and you end up in a different area, right?
Yeah.
A good thing that the server does, and that I guess all the servers did, but this server has touched up a little bit on, is the scroll system, the teleporting system. I mean, obviously you can just get back to spawn by typing the KILL word in the console, but you might lose your ammo, or if you die with money on you, you lose some of your money. So that's what the bank is for.
Yeah, I think you lose about half of it.
Yeah, you lose half your money, I think. So don't go out of the base area with all your money on you, unless you want to lose all of it. Yeah, this guy's name is Scrolls Master Zong. That's his name. That's not his title. That's just his actual name. Okay, this person's name is Spellbook Shop. Yeah. All right. So this is an apothecary. I think this is outdated. I don't think you want to buy this stuff. I don't even know why this NPC is still here. Those don't work. You need to buy the scrolls from this guy instead. And
yeah,
these... You just use these and it teleports you, but they're kind of expensive, I'm not gonna lie. Also, wow, these are really expensive. Holy shit. They're all like 5k or more. That's actually a lot. That's stuff you probably want to use later in the game when you don't want to travel as much. There's a level 50 spell that you can really easily just switch to your wand and use and run super fast. There's also a bit of an exploit slash a glitch with a precision shot for range, but I'm not gonna get into that today. But that's basically how you can help traverse the areas around the map, besides literally just walking around. Because it does take a long time. Like, if I were to go out here and try to walk around at level 1...
Oh, man.
I don't have a point in run speed.
I don't even know if you're going to make it.
What do you mean I'm not going to make it? Why would I not make it?
Well, you're about to find out when you go over there.
Why would I not make it? Why? I don't understand why I wouldn't make it. Also, this game mode's in third person. I probably should explain that at the beginning. There's a first person option.
Doesn't work.
But it doesn't work very well because there's no view models, because that's very hard to implement with this game mode. So I just recommend playing in third person. Remember, the crosshair is your active aiming spot, and it moves accurately to where you're aiming. So use that crosshair to your advantage. Anyway, I'm just gonna go for a walk throughout the world, throughout the land, and uh-oh. Ow. Ow.
What just happened to you?
Okay, that's great. Well, that's a great place to end the introductory episode to Underdone. I think. Any final words on the introduction? This was basically a brief overview of a lot of different things.
I mean, my final words are come enjoy it for yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
really
stay
fun.
tuned for more.
Don't know when we'll do more, but we'll try to do more soon-ish. That's gonna do it for this first introductory episode of the Underdone podcast, where two veterans reminisce over the history and experience of an underappreciated game mode in servers.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Hope you look forward to more, and we'll see you next time. Wait, stick around for a little bit of some funny, goofy stuff that happened before we started recording proper. Enjoy. Okay, well, alright, let's start with an introduction, okay? I mean, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now?
I was putting stuff in my bank.
You're just playing the game, okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, dude.
Can I unbind all of this shit on the hotbar? Yeah. Okay, I thought you were Dr. Breen for a second. We needed like a custom
What is
intro.
Underdone? Where did we get?
No, stop.
How did we get here?
Where did we come from? We need a custom introduction, okay? It's an entirely separate thing. It's not me, it's not you, it's a cooperative effort. It's like a different thing, right? So we need a custom intro.
Got it. We copy and paste the intro to the Underdone game. Standalone on
Greetings, Underdone player. We both say that at the same time. That's horrible, dude. What the? That's terrible. No. Hell no. Absolutely not. Let's just script out an intro in our heads. That's not very useful. Let's in an intro.
No, we both come up with different scripts.
Yeah, right. You go, then I'll go. Oh, I almost spilled coffee everywhere. Okay.
Just sit there like, hey man, you're going off script, dude.
It's my script. Fuck you.
Yeah, oh my god.
Okay.
I know the perfect solution. Hold on.
ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's kick it off with some AI generated content. Hell yeah. Let's get it in there.
The AI generated Underdone story.
I wonder what it would make up. Would you just tell it about the commander? Like, oh, he would blow people up with a rocket launcher and drive them off cliffs in a fire truck. They would think he's a psychopath and needs to be arrested if you told it that. Are you actually asking it to write an intro to a podcast? Please don't. No. Okay.
All right, hold on. I got something. The background music fades in. Host, welcome, fellow adventurers, to the Underdone podcast, your gateway to the mystical realm of Underdone.
No, I refuse.
The ordinary becomes extraordinary.
It's so on the nose, dude.
Sound effects of spells being cast. Swords. Distant monster roars. Oh my god, dude.
Okay, this is just something I wrote straight up. Just boom. I just wrote that right now, and I think that's kind of short and concise, and it explains what it's about. That's good, I think. Now I'll read yours. Background music fades in. Welcome, fellow adventurers, to the Underdone podcast, your gateway to the mystical realms of Underdone, the Garry's Mod game mode where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Join us as we delve into the depths of this captivating world, where heroes rise from humble beginnings, wielding their skills and courage to conquer the unknown. Whether you're a seasoned explorer or a novice adventurer, prepare to be immersed in a universe brimming with quests, treasures, and untold dangers. So gather your party, sharpen your blades, and ignite your arcane powers. As for in Underdone, the journey is as thrilling as the destination. Let the adventure begin! Alright, there you go. There's your version of the intro. There's ChatGPT's version, and obviously ChatGPT's British, because it's smart. And everyone that's smart is British. Obviously. And he has glasses.
Oh, God.
Are you happy?
That was amazing.
Alright, so, I think I'm gonna need some Motrins for this one. What a week, huh? It's Sunday.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Been working overtime.
I sure am. It's 10 a.m. on a Sunday. Man, what a week. That's so bad, dude. That's so bad. That's horrible. Holy shit. Oh, God. Okay. Well, I guess a brief history would include servers that we've played on and the people who owned them. And then we get on to help.
That could be bad, but I mean, yeah.
Could it? We just say the people who owned. That's not bad.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like we're saying.
Don't get into the politics of it, right?
Oh, there's no politics about charging $1,000 for a role that just beats the game for you. I think. You know how many people shit talk Diablo Immortal? It's the same. It's like worse than that. So I think people would. I don't think that's political at all. That's just too far. It's simple as that.
It still amazes me that people bought that.
Dude, that blows my mind. But hey,
for Garry's mod.
I hope they had fun with it. I hope they enjoyed it while it lasted, because it didn't last that long.
Yeah, no, oh my god, dude, it was like the time I gave my CS:GO knife up for that Minecraft server.
Oh god.
To get like the top rank, and then like a month later it shut down. It's like that, but 10 times worse. All right, I know what we got to start with. The history of the start of Source and how we got the Gmod.
Let's go back to Gold Source. We're gonna start with the Quake engine and how Valve made a modification to it to create Gold Source, and they made Half-Life 1. No, we don't need to do that. I mean, we kind of need to mention the fact that it's a Gmod, and then briefly what Gmod is, because people might not know what that is. They might think it's just funny skibbity toilet game.
Oh god.
You have to remember what year this is. As much as it hurts, you have to remember.
I'm 63 years old.
I don't think so. All right. All right.